Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rangers Respite. I'm Philip, and today is Saturday, and that means it is time for a Lost Lantern Saturday review. Now, I've finished up all of the fall collection, official and unofficial, that I have. So I spun the wheel last Saturday, and I landed on New York Distilling Company Opulent Orchard, or as Jerm would say, Opulent Orchard. It is a New York rye whiskey finished in a New York rye whiskey finished in apple brandy. Yes, apple brandy casks. It's 7 years old, which is a pretty good age statement for an American whiskey. If we're all being honest, it is 57.5% alcohol by volume, or 115 proof, and it is an excellent dram in my personal opinion. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Ooh, somehow got dust on my glass while it was sitting there with whiskey in it. Weird. Oh, before I get into it, real quick, if you want to support the show, you want to see more episodes like this, because this is a bottle that I purchased with my own money. How you can do that is you can go to the Etsy link in the description down below and purchase a pen or a bowl, but a pen made from a French oak cognac cask held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. I can't tell you which one because the master distiller couldn't get her marketing team to sign off on it, but if you know, you know. Now, I also have a TeePublic store with a couple of designs and another on the way this coming June. Actually, 2 more on the way this coming June. In the meantime, let's take a look at this. On the nose, it is light. There is like, and every time I pull this out and I take a good hit on the nose, there is Mott's unsweetened apple salt or apple juice. I think it's supposed to be used for baking, but it's like this, like almost tart, rich appley apple juice. I get that with mulling spices on here. So basically the effect of like mulled apple cider, except without the like cidery crisp sweetness, if that makes sense. There's a little bit of sweetness there, though. The only examples of New York Distilling Company rye that I have, though, are finished in apple brandy casks. So I don't have an unfinished, not unfinished, but a standard New York Distilling Company rye to compare to see if that sweetness comes from the apple brandy that they used or the rye cask or the ryes that they use. This is less heavy on like the aniseed note, a little bit heavier on like the baking spice and stuff. It really is like that Mott's unsweetened apple juice with mulling spices thrown in. It's wild. On the palate, there's a big hit of like apple, like skin and all apple, followed by like a robust, warm spice note. Again, no mintiness, no aniseed. This is really just like baking spice heavy rye. There's maybe a little tiny bit of a pumpernickel note on the blind sample showdown this Wednesday. This is one of the blind samples. I wasn't on the show. I was watching. And one of the things that's really fascinating is I don't think either one guessed that it was a rye. I'd have to go back and rewatch. Hmm. Okay. I really love rye whiskey. Don't tell Doug, but rye is my first love when it comes to whiskey. My first introduction to good whiskey was a rye from Catoctin Creek Distillery, and I've been, you know, a big fan of rye ever since. Um, I have a lot of Catoctin Creek rye. I have a lot of ryes in general. When I'm looking for Virginia whiskeys to add to the list, because I'm working on getting one from every Virginia distiller, a whiskey from every Virginia distillery that produces whiskey. I usually try to get the rye first. I'm pretty confident. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that I would have nailed this as a rye whiskey. Having had it, I'm pretty confident that I'd nail it for what it is, or confuse it with the other apple brandy finished New York Distilling Company rye that I have, that I know that Germ has both of, but that's neither here nor there. Um, that said, I totally whiffed on a rye on my first round appearance. Totally missed. It was it was wild. If you haven't watched it, you should. It is, in my personal opinion, a great episode. Patty and I had a lot of fun. Both of us were aiming for 0 points. Neither one of us did it. We tied, and I won the tiebreaker. Weirdly, I've been stretching my blind tasting muscles a little bit to get better for my round two appearance, which is on the 21st of January. Hmm. Bite of apple, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, not really any caraway seeds, a little bit of like pumpernickel spice, but not a whole lot. And then like caramel and like a little bit of like a burnt sugar note. The finish is lingering, and it's like apple, vanilla, and that like an indistinct spice note, like mulling spice note. I really like this stuff. I find it hard to talk about it because I'm just sitting here drinking it down. I'm going to stop now because it's almost gone out of my glass. I'm trying to be moderate in my drinking tonight. So, what do I think? I always ask and answer 3 questions on my reviews. The first one being, do I like it? Oh, absolutely. It is fantastic stuff. It is incredibly, perhaps even dangerously easy drinking, which for some may not be ideal, and I totally get that. But I really like it. Um, it's got some nice complexity once you dig in, but it's easygoing enough that even at 115 proof, which is a little bit high for some of my friends, for example, it's just a really nice sit down, sippable whiskey. That's just my opinion. 2, do I think it's a good value? I don't believe it's available anymore, but I also I gotta get better about this. I misspoke on my, McCarthy's Olorosa. It is $120. I still think it's a good value. This, I believe, was $100, and I believe that it was a good value. It still is a good value. I think that if you see it, on shelves somewhere, on off chance, you should pick it up. It is fantastic. If you don't like rye, this may change your mind about it. Um, that's just my personal opinion. Third question, do I recommend it? Yeah, if you don't like rye, this will change your opinion about rye. If you do like rye, this will cement your opinion of rye. It's fantastic stuff. I really love it, and I can't wait to spin up the 9-year single cask version on the chart. But that will have to wait. Before I go, really quick, just going to go over here. Ta-da, the wheel. And before I go, again, I'm selling these pens. They're made from French oak ex-cognac cask, held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. I also have a TeePublic store where I sell. I've got 2 designs up. You can buy those designs on stickers, hats, shirts, etc. I'd really appreciate it. All the proceeds from those go to continuing this show and the Single Malt Frontier. And now, without further ado, let's see what we're looking at next. And I've got to add a couple of things to this wheel, actually, because I've gotten a couple things. Oh, oh, come on. That was weird. Oh, let's try that again. I don't know what happened. It just decided not to spin. Ooh. This one is kind of cool. Where is it? Where is it? This is one of the relatively early single casks from Lost Lantern. You can tell by, I keep forgetting, you can tell by the old school label. Came out in 2021. It is single cask number 1. It is a sherry finished American single malt whiskey. It is 4 years old, 2 years in a this, you know what, I'll tell you about it next Saturday. How's that? In the meantime, it's been good talking to you. If you stayed, it was great seeing you. It's always fun to talk to you guys, or the void if nobody's watching. As always, Adam and Nora knocked it out of the park with this one, their whole team. So until next time, stay happy, stay geeks, Slancher.